Hello and welcome. I'm Kerry Rowett of Awaken Kinesiology and alignandattract.com. And this webinar today is about releasing your fears and stepping into your power. And it doesn't matter whether your fears are big and huge or whether you've just got some niggling kinds of fears or worries or anxieties that you feel might be holding you back, or even if you just feel that you're holding yourself back, but you have no idea why. So very briefly, for those of you who don't know who I am yet, I am, as I mentioned, Kerry, and I am based in Adelaide in Australia, and I'm a kinesiologist. I work with my clients predominantly via Skype. So my clients all around Australia, and a lot of my clients are overseas as well. So you can find out a lot more about what it is that I do at my website, which was awakenkinesiology.com. So what are we going to do today? So we're going to be having a bit of a look at fear. It's so common. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and when you are in business for yourself, oh my goodness, fear is something that everyone has to navigate at different times. But even if you're not in business, of course, you can experience fears, especially when you're trying new things or you are making changes in your life. It's really common for fear to come up. So what I'm going to be doing today is guiding us through a process to help us to diffuse our fears. Some of them will be things you already know about. Some of these fears will be things that you haven't even really thought of. But, you know, when we start to touch on it, like, oh, yeah, I do feel a bit of fear around that. And I'm going to help you to connect to your inner sense of confidence and your inner resourcefulness and resilience. Because when you are in that space and you are feeling confident and you believe in yourself and you back yourself, the things that might be causing fear or might feel somewhat overwhelming, all of a sudden they just feel like something you just need to work your way through. Or even if it's something you really do need to change or you really need to look at, when you're in that space of like feeling in your power, you can actually just go ahead and do that. And you don't have to go into, you know, denial or into avoidance or try and avoid looking at it all together. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, I do have a group program, which is called Align and Attract. I'm going to talk about that at the end. So that's a big part of what we do in that program, is help you to release fears and release blocks as you grow your business and as you look at specific things in your business like money and attracting clients and attracting the numbers you want. And I help you to learn how to clear those things, the blocks that are holding you back, so that you can move forwards and stay in your power. So I'll talk about that right at the end. I'll let you know before I do, because I know not everyone has got their own business. All right. So when it comes to fear, the first thing I want to really note is that sometimes fear is a sign that something needs to change or that something isn't right. Sometimes fear actually is your intuition. And I know it can be quite popular to just talk about, you know, busting through fears and just pushing through and overcoming it. But, you know, sometimes that we're fighting the wrong battle when we're doing that. Sometimes we need to have a look at, gosh, if I'm in fear a lot of the time, or if I'm feeling quite an acute level of fear, maybe there's something I need to do differently, or maybe I need to navigate differently with this. So that's something I really want you to you know, think about as we're looking at these fears. So sometimes, you know, something isn't right. The job that you're in isn't right, or there is something about your business or about your business model that needs to change. It comes up sometimes for my clients with relationships. If you're feeling fear in a relationship, or you're feeling this sense of uncertainty all the time, you know, that's not a great way to live your life. The issue is not helping you to shift out of your fear. The issue is what's going on that is causing you to feel that way, and address that. Okay. Because it is absolutely unsustainable, I believe, to live in a state of fear over the medium to long term. Because what happens when you're in fear? You're releasing hormones from your adrenals, stress hormones, which are designed to, you know, put you into a state of fight or flight so you can address that fear. But you're not designed to stay in that state for a period of time. And what happens if you do? Well, eventually you develop things like adrenal fatigue. You can cause problems with your reproductive hormones. So your menstrual cycle might go out of balance, or you're getting PMS or other things in that kind of area. People can end up coming to me and I feel like they've got all these different niggly health issues, or they're just feeling really run down, really depleted, uninspired, demotivated. And sometimes it might be that when we look at it, they've been running their business or running their life on fear, with fear, for whether it's usually longer than months, usually years. And the body's just said, I've had enough. I don't want to keep on operating in this way. So it's not a way to operate long term. And so you do hear those sometimes, don't you, that when you're in business, fear is just really common, it's really necessary. And I think it's important to remember that you know yourself and you know your own risk tolerance. So for some people, they can throw themselves on the line and put themselves under a lot of pressure and experience a lot of risk, and they can find that kind of invigorating or kind of exciting, and they like that feeling of overcoming the odds. For other people, and I would put myself in this category, is like that doesn't feel good to me. Like if I put myself under tons of pressure and push myself up against the odds and put myself like really high risks, I put myself in a high risk position, that doesn't feel good. So that's not a fear to overcome. You don't need to learn how to like tolerate really high levels of risk unless you really, really want to. You just need to know yourself and go, that's just not the way I like to operate, and know that it's okay to do things your way. It's okay to go at your own pace. It's okay to slow down if something doesn't feel right, and to check with yourself, not with, checking around with other people and what's right for them and what they think that is the right way to run business or run their lives. Okay. So yeah, don't judge yourself. Really know who you are and know what it is that you need. Also related to business, sometimes, when we're in business, because you're always doing new things and you're always coming up against new challenges and, things that you have never done before quite often, and feeling more visible and feeling more exposed, those are normal stresses in business. And I love the way Denise Duffield-Thomas talks about this, actually, because she just says that a lot of the things that you might fear if you're in business, so fearing unsubscribes or running a webinar and the technology breaks. Do you know what? Right before this webinar today, and I've done I don't know how many webinars now, probably a few dozen, because I do them for my group programs. I've done quite a few as a part of that. Right before, it just said, oh, the video, it can't find a video. Now, I'm on a Mac. It's not a separate video. It's just in the screen. So I'm and then the whole thing froze. And so I had to restart the computer. And I thought, I hope it's ready in time. But do you know what I mean? That kind of thing, it just does happen, even if you're not fearing it. But, I know lots of people have had technology things go wrong, and it's just a part of business. You can totally know that type of thing might happen. So you don't need to fear it, just need to deal with it if it happens, right? What other kinds of fears do people talk about? Oh, they might have a launch and it doesn't go very well. Total rites of passage happens to nearly everyone at some particular point in time, or put something out there, you don't get the response that you expected to get. You might get a hater or just someone who doesn't like what it is that you do or the way that you do it. Again, it's going to happen. Don't need to fear it. Just need to know, yeah, it probably will happen. And I just need to navigate that when it does. And so it's about developing that resilience. So what other kinds of fears? Well, sometimes they are just things that are in our head. Sometimes it really is that we've just got these fears that we are creating because of the way that we are thinking and because of our mindset. So we really might be shrinking ourselves down. We really might be going into resistance, going into avoidance, and we might just be holding ourselves back by fears that, if we could get into a more resourceful state, we could stay in action and do what it is that we want to do. And just on that note, for those of us who are in business, sometimes I find when my clients are going into a lot of fear, what can be happening is the focus is on themselves. So the focus is on, I'm scared of being more visible. I'm scared of being rejected. As I said, probably will happen at some point. I'm scared of making a mistake. I'm scared of going in the wrong direction, making the wrong decision. Well, what we need to do when we're in business is take that focus off of ourselves and put the focus back on to your clients, back on to the people that you want to help and offer yourself. And oftentimes that's enough to take care of that fear, because we're focusing on ourselves, that's the focus is in the wrong area. So that's going to cause you to feel stuck and to really end up swirling around in your own head, which is not where you want to be. All right, so let's get into it. So whatever the fear is, you're wanting to get back into your power, back into resourcefulness, back into resilience. So what we're going to do now is to start to activate some of your fears. So I'm going to get you to place your whole hand over your forehead, just like I'm doing now. And I want you to close your eyes. And we're going to start to think about some potential fears that you might have. So our intention is at this point to bring that fear right up, okay? So I want you to think about fears that you may have had in the past, or past, like in inverted commas, failures that you might have experienced, or disappointments. So that might be in business, it might be in a job, it might be anything. So thinking about that, think about the idea of making a mistake or making a wrong decision. I want you to think about the idea of not being good enough. So doing something and it just doesn't work, or it's nowhere near as successful as you would hope. I want you to think about money fears that you might have. So it might be related to the past, money things that have happened. It might be, fears you've got right now about money. It might be fears you have about the future. Sometimes I find with clients, even if things are going well for them financially or things are flowing, they might be fearing something in the future. Maybe it's going to stop. Maybe they're going to get hit with unexpected expenses. I want you to think about not feeling in control. So the fear of not being in control. So things are happening and you can't control them. Unexpected things are happening that you didn't plan for. Or things, just thinking in general about the unknowns. And now where I want you to go to is the worst case scenario. So I want you to think about, like, let's just say it's in your business or in your job or in your family, just thinking about something that you do fear, that you worry about, and it's the worst case scenario. It's just really that thing that you just like, oh, I would hate it if that happened. Or the worst case scenario financially, if that's a big fear. So just thinking about any kind of worst case scenarios that you can access. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to diffuse this and we want to take the charge off it and take the power out of it. All right, so activating any other fears that you have, fears of change, fears of looking things that are challenging, fears of doing things that are new, anything else you can find that causes you fear. Okay, now release that. Give it a good shake out. Okay, we're going to go through and we're going to do a really quick run through of EFT, so emotional freedom technique. If you are familiar with EFT, great. If you're not, don't worry. All you need to do for now is just follow along with me. So just tapping on the outside of your hand for me. So we're going to start to diffuse this fear. So you're not just sitting there with your fear. All right, so repeating after me. Even though I have all of these fears, repeat that. No one can hear you, by the way. I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping the top of your head. Even though all of these fears are holding me back, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping in between your eyes. Even though I have all these fearful feelings, so repeating that, and I have all of these fearful thoughts, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping on the outside of your eyes. Even though I hate the idea of having fear, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping underneath your eyes next. Even though some of my fears feel overwhelming, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping underneath your nose. Even though feeling fear is horrible, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping underneath your lips. Even though I just want to be rid of all of these fears, I deeply and completely love myself. Tapping on your collarbones now. Even though I wish I never felt fear, and I wish I was fearless, I deeply and completely love myself. Awesome. Shake it out. So that's just kind of skimming the top off of that fear that we've activated for you. And now we're going to be holding some acupressure points. I went through before we started and asked which acupressure points do we need to help to really bring this fear down for you. So we're going to start off with kidney 27s, just where we were tapping. So right here on the collarbones, I want you to hold those points gently as well. Now these points, so the kidney meridian is a lot to do with fear and releasing fear. And it is also connected to anxiety, and kidney meridian is about reconnecting to your intuition. So these points that we're holding right here, kidney 27, specifically about fear, about taking action, and about loving your life. It's a big difference, isn't there, between being stuck in fear and reacting to fear and fearing things that will go wrong, and stepping into a resourceful, confident space where you don't fear, you just have curiosity and you're open to exploring and you're open to learning and you are problem solving. So that's a really resourceful place to be in, when you just think, well, it doesn't necessarily matter what happens because I know that I can navigate. So that's the space we're wanting to shift you into today. Space of curiosity. Beautiful. Release those. Now move on to heart 8, right in the center of the palm. Just keep it here. So just holding your palm like this. You can rest yours in your lap. It's more comfortable, but I'll just keep mine here in case people are coming in and out and want to see what I'm doing. So heart 8, and heart meridian, as you'd imagine, it's about connecting to your heart. It's about loving yourself. It's about accepting yourself. It's about being able to connect to others. So the types of fears this is helping to diffuse is, those fears about you and connection to other people. A lot of times people talk to me about fears of rejection, or fears of feeling left out, or fears of feeling misunderstood. And, back onto the business note, that's part of what people can find really confronting and activating when they're in business, is they can find that it re-triggers feelings that they had. So when they're putting things out there and not getting the response they might desire, or whatever it is that's happening, it can re-trigger feelings they had when they were at school, or when they were, a child in their family or at uni. So it's like, it's that feeling of being back at school and no one wants to play with me. That kind of feeling. But even if you're not in business, I'm sure you can relate, doing new things. It can absolutely activate fears you may have had when you were really young. Switching sides. Holding that center of the palm on the other side. And just taking some deep breaths. So what's a really good way to overcome fear and to navigate fear? Well, a really great way is to love yourself and accept yourself, and to know that you do love and accept yourself no matter what happens. Because if you love and accept yourself anyway, which is what is actually verbalizing when we were doing the EFT, even if all of these things are true, I still deeply and completely love myself. Again, it doesn't really matter what happens, because you still love yourself and you still accept yourself. So you made a mistake. Okay. So something didn't go as you planned. Okay. It's like, well, it's okay. I don't have to be perfect. I don't expect myself to be perfect. I love myself and I accept myself. So I guess I'll just move on from here. So I want you to just feel into that and think, gosh, what would be different for me if I was willing to love and accept more? What new things might I try? What would I do differently? What would be easier? And oftentimes what you'll find is there'd be a lot less resistance, because you've got that acceptance already. And so you've got your own back, whether you are in business or you are not. Having your own back is so important and makes such a huge difference, and is something that I see in my clients who are successful. That willingness, which is, clients who come and work with somebody like me, usually it's because they are successful in terms of the fact that they will back themselves. Release that. Okay, the next point, it's on your ankle, right? So I've got my legs crossed. I'm just going to put one leg on top of the other. I'm going to describe this. I may even lift my foot up and show you. We'll see. So rest one ankle on top of the other leg, and I want you to use 2 fingers like this, and you're going to go behind the ankle joints, between the ankle and the Achilles heel. Let me show you. All right, just, oops, nice, dirty foot. Okay, just here, right, between the ankle and the Achilles heel. I love this point. So kidney 4. It's a big point for fear. It's for a fear of feeling out of control. How much do most of us hate the idea of feeling out of control? And what I'll see sometimes with clients is, to manage that fear, they will try and control everything and or everyone around them. And that's exhausting. And it can create more fear because it's very hard to control all the people and all of the situations. What's easier is feeling in control within. And that's where we really want to get that sense of control from. Is I feel in control because I can trust myself to navigate. I feel in control because I know that I've got this. I feel in control because I back myself. So it's the feeling in control is based on things that are within your control, not based on things that you cannot control. That feels so good, that point, as I'm holding that. So I hope you're experiencing the same, just that beautiful like flow of energy. It's coming up right into the heart for me. Okay, switching sides. So crossing your other leg over, holding that point behind the back of the ankle, between the ankle joint and the Achilles heel. Just in a soft bit there. So fear of losing control. This point is also for a fear of being in control. So that can be, especially if you're in your own business or just in anything in your life, it's taking full ownership for your decisions and your choices, isn't it? And just feeling okay for it to be you that is in control, not handing over your power to anyone else or to any other situation, and just knowing it's okay if I make the wrong decision. It's okay if I need to change course or do something differently. It's okay for me to be in control. Then it's not just okay, it's necessary for me to really have that sense of control and sense of power over my life and over situations, over my own mindset, over my own reactions. Beautiful. Release that. Next up, going to get you to hold Central Vessel 24. It's right here on the chin. Central vessel relates to success and failure. This is letting go of the fear of failure. It's feeling frustrated with a lack of success. It might be that we feel frustrated at our fears. And frustrated at the way our fears might be holding us back. Next point, we can release that one now. I'm going to stand up a little bit. So it's spleen 21. So it's called the give yourself a hug point. So it's just right under here. For if you're a woman, it's around about at your bra line. So if you just cross your arms in front of you like that and hold the points on the side, you're hitting spleen 21 right there. Spleen meridian. Spleen's all about nurturing yourself and looking after yourself in that really deep, nurturing, nourishing way. It's you doing that for yourself internally, not reaching for food, not reaching for chocolate, not reaching for the glass of wine to help you in those moments when you have fear or when you are a bit unsure or unsteady or uncertain. It's you being able to access your own internal resourcefulness and your own internal comfort. The word I'm looking for. So as you're holding those points, I want you to think about what would it be like if I could access my own internal sense of comfort, and if I was able to comfort and reassure myself and encourage myself when I'm trying new things and when I am in situations that are bringing up fear for me. So I can just be there for myself and be, that friend to myself. So in the way that I talk to myself, in the way I nurture myself and nourish myself, including with what I eat and how I move my body and how I care for myself. Sometimes we might be putting ourselves under a lot of pressure and navigating situations that are scaring us. But if we're not there for ourselves at the same time, it's kind of mean. It's kind of unfair to do that to ourselves, I think. So right now, as you're holding these points, really give yourself that commitment. When I'm in fearful situations, I'm not going to self-abandon. I'm going to stay with myself. And I'm going to look after myself. Awesome. Now, I would like you to hold the top of your head, just like this. Holding governing 20. So this is an integration point. So right now, oh, it's nice and warm for me. I wonder what you're feeling. So what we're doing right now is helping to bring all this together. We are activating your power. And all of the different messages that we've been talking about as we've been going through holding these points, it's helping to activate that new awareness, that new insight, those new possibilities, new ways to approach situations where you might feel fearful. So, and you gaining a new ability to access your resourcefulness and your resilience in those moments. And just giving yourself that feeling, you have got this. I have got this. Of course I'm powerful. Of course I'm capable. Of course I am resilient. Of course I can navigate whatever life brings me. Okay, beautiful. You can release that. It's feeling pretty good. I want you to go back now to placing your hand on your forehead, just like this. And I want you to close your eyes again. And now I want you to just imagine what it might feel like if the situations that bring you fear in your life just felt neutralized. If you just felt like, I am so strong, I'm so capable, I am so powerful that I can handle all of these things. I want you to go back now and think about some of these fears that you were thinking about at the start, particularly the ones that did bring up a sense of fear for you. You know, when you could really feel that fear. So I want you to really feel into that. How do they feel now? And just seeing yourself just feeling strong, capable, standing on your 2 feet, in your power, moving about your life with true confidence and true self-worth and true self-trust. Beautiful. Release that hand. Now, what I would like you to do is to think about an action that you might take. Now, this action is going to be related to something that does feel a bit scary for you. So don't miss this step. Don't think, oh, that was all really nice, Kerry. I feel good now. I'm going. What I want you to do is to think about an action, because how do you overcome fear? How do you develop a greater sense of resilience? It is by putting yourself into situations that do cause you some discomfort. It doesn't have to be fear. You don't have to like take it to the nth degree. Just something that feels a bit uncomfortable and just going, well, what's the next step? What's something that could feel a little bit scary for me that I could do? And then you do it and you go, gosh, I was able to do that. I did navigate that situation. Yeah, maybe I didn't do it perfectly. Maybe I was a bit scared. Doesn't matter. I did it. And that enhances your ability to see yourself as that brave and courageous and capable person who does take things on and who does navigate them. So what are some examples of the types of fears that you might take action on? So for some, if you're in business, it might be, oh, I hate the idea of doing a webinar, and Kerry's just talked about the types of things that can go wrong and I don't want that to happen. You could just go, well, do you know what, maybe I could just do a webinar. It doesn't matter. It could be that I make this webinar 20 minutes or I make it 30 minutes and I just do it. And it might not be perfect. I might not market it perfectly, but I'm just going to go ahead and schedule it and run it, and I will improve from there. So see it in that way. It could be something like kind of health related. It could be like, I'm really scared of trying something new and just going to that yoga class or going to that Pilates class, or going to the gym, like joining a new gym or something like that, or going to the dentist, or going to the doctor for something that has been kind of just on the back burner worrying you, and you're a bit scared about what they're going to find out or say. And it's like, just go ahead and just do it. It could be, contacting somebody that you're nervous about contacting, or having a conversation that brings up a bit of fear for you, or a little bit of worry, but actually just going ahead and speaking your truth or saying what needs to be said. So they're just examples. I want you to think for yourself, what is your action step? And you can feel free to email me about that. I'm Kerry at awakenkinesiology.com if you want a little bit of accountability. Totally fine. I would love to hear how you found the webinar. So please feel free, if you're those of us who are here live, feel free to start sharing your comments and how it is that you are feeling and what it is that you are noticing, whether it's in your body or the way you're thinking about things, or a fear that you realized was there that you kind of realize isn't actually there anymore, or what's changed for you from feeling more in your power. What maybe there was something I said that really activated something for you and you thought, I do feel that way. That feels really, really great now. I feel like if I do love myself and accept myself, I can navigate this differently. So I'd love to hear those kind of thoughts. You can also share them, particularly if you're listening afterwards, at my Facebook page, which is Awaken Kinesiology. So feel free to please pop across there. I love hearing how you go, and it gives me great feedback. So then I can think about other things that I can do to help, and other kinds of webinars that I might run into the future. So thank you. Now, for those of you who are in business, I'm going to talk a little bit about align and attract now. So if you're not in business, I teach the same process that we do in Align and Attract in my DIY kinesiology kit. And what we do is we use my alignment process to set goals, and then to find out what it is that is blocking you from achieving those goals. And then I help you to shift that energy. So people tell me they love being able to pinpoint exactly what the block is, and most importantly, be able to shift it. So we use my chakra cards. So in the course, you get a hard copy of the chakra cards, and they come in a little box. In the DIY kit, you get a downloadable copy. So that's, if you don't have a business, take a look at the DIY kinesiology kit. But for those of us who are in business, Align and Attract. So this is my group program. And what we do in the group program is we align to goals each week on specific themes. So first of all, we start out by looking at our big picture goals. So what is it that I really want for myself in my business? So it might be, I really want to feel connected to my purpose. I want to feel connected to my truth. I want to feel that I am in my power. I'm 100% aligned to my business. I'm going to pause because I'm seeing some of the comments coming in, feeling really powerful. Those points are great. Awesome. Thank you, Penelope. Helen, I'm feeling calm and powerful too. Brilliant. Rachel, that was so wonderful. I'm so shocked. I feel like I always felt that powerful, but now I remember. That's cool. Maggie's saying the self-comfort point and kidney points are so calming and reassuring. Oh, beautiful. I love it. And isn't it so great to know you can do that for yourself? Okay, so with align and attract. So we start out aligning to our big picture goals. Then we move on to aligning to our ideal clients. Now, I don't think about ideal clients in terms of like a niche. It's not like, you know, a mother who's this age, who has this many children, who whatever. For me, when we're aligning to our ideal clients, we're looking at what are the qualities of the clients I love to work with. So they are committed, they are focused, they want to create change, they love the kind of work that I do, they want to work with me. So I help you to align to attracting and connecting to those kind of clients. Which for me, I think is a big reason as to why I've always loved my business, because I work with such beautiful clients who it's just a total joy to work with. So it's totally worth doing that work. Next up, we align to our fees. A lot of people who work for themselves can have blocks around how much it is that they charge, particularly when you're starting out, or particularly when it comes to changing fees, increasing fees, introducing a new program or product. So I help you to get aligned to it so you can just feel really neutral and calm about what it is that you are charging. Next up, we align to your income goals. So income goals, you know, they can be like the next step of what you're wanting to make in your income, or it can be, you know, those big picture goals as to where you're wanting to head and what would feel really great for you. The beautiful thing about working with hard numbers is they are triggering. They bring up stuff, right? So when you say, I want to align to earning, for example, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, whatever it is. For some people, they need to align to how much profit they want to make, because they make maybe plenty of revenue, but the profit is the issue. So when you put in a goal like that, it's going to bring up your stuff, it can bring up your fears. So again, we go to the process and find out what's blocking it and help to shift it. Finally, we work on attracting your ideal numbers. So that's for, you know, if you're working one-on-one, the number of clients that you would love to be working with, for example, each week. Or it could be that you've got a program and aligning to attracting a certain number of people into that program. So those are the main themes. And then there are lessons that we look at each week as a part of the program. There's acupressure points that I give you to hold each week to support that. But what I love about this program and why I love teaching this material is because what I see for people who do it, and you can totally go and look at alignandattract.com now and you can see the beautiful testimonials. I love seeing people step into their power. Oh my gosh, that's just made me feel really emotional. That was unexpected. Oh, okay. I do really love seeing people step into their power and do what it is that they really love to do, and to feel really confident and capable within themselves, and stop giving away their power to feeling like I need to work with the next mentor, or I need to invest money in learning a new system or into learning a new program. And really help people to come into their sense of self, that I'm enough, who I am is enough, what I'm offering is enough. It's ridiculous. And I can have the impact that I desire. And I see that happen for so many people. So I started teaching this material back in 2011 because I had started my own business in 2009. I did all this alignment work. I saw a kinesiologist every week, every month, not every week. I did my own alignment practices using what it is that, you know, I'd learned in kinesiology, and I, you know, just kept on aligning to what it was that I wanted. What do I desire? Who do I want to work with? And really just keeping on bringing myself back into balance. And I believe that's why I was able to grow my business relatively quickly. You know, I was able to leave my job and be working full-time in my business within the 2 years, and be working with beautiful clients. And I was able to do it in ways that really felt beautiful for me and felt right for me. It didn't involve me doing things that felt felt wrong or felt icky, or it was someone else's plan or it's someone else's system. It was about me. It was about me attracting my ideal clients. So I did that. And then, by 2011, I was encouraged by a business mentor to start teaching this to other people, because it was just working so beautifully. She's like, you've got something going on here and you need to teach this to other people. So that's when the alignment process was born. It's my own process. It's a process I channeled, and I taught that as a part of a teleclass series called How to Align Your Energy to Attract More Clients. So that has evolved over the last few years. It's like I taught it then and it was beautiful. I aligned to attracting 10 people to my teleclass, and I had 13 the first week, which I thought was incredible. And then people kept on joining. By the second week, there was over 20. By the third week, there was over 30, because people were hearing about it. There was this kind of this energy around it, and it was just beautiful. And then I kind of had to go off and grow and evolve and develop myself, my own skills and my own leadership, my own alignment to the next level. And I did that over the last few years. And then I started, 2014, I was like, right, I'm ready to teach this myself again. And it took me nearly a year to get Align and Attract together. I spent a lot of money on it, spent a lot of time on it, because I was like, no, this is important. This is important work that people need. And so I started teaching it again last year. And in the last certain number of years since I started my business, I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs now, and I've also had dozens of people go through my programs and learn how to align their energy in relation to their business goals. So I know this work works. I know this work is powerful. And if you feel inspired, we would, of course, love you to join us. We've got a new program coming up soon. I won't say the dates because people might be listening to this afterwards. And, I run this program several times a year. So you can go to the website alignandattract.com and either sign up, or you can see when just sign up so you can find out when it's running again, or you might be able to join up at the time, or you can contact me at kerry@awakenkinesiology.com if you have any questions. So thank you so much. I'm just going to have a look at the rest of the comments. So Fiona said, thanks, Kerry, lots to work on. Jacinda said, feeling nurtured, calm and committed to me. Beautiful. Group said, I love your passion. Emma said, oh, that was so lovely to see your emotion. I can't wait to start this program again next week. Yeah, cool. She said, I noticed during today's webinar how far she'd come, which is brilliant. Jacinta said, love to see the impact it's had on me. Yeah, look, it's had an impact on me, but the impact, it's more about the impact it's had on other people. Do you know what I mean? It's nice that I enjoy it. That's good. But it's really about, I love seeing other people get out of their own way and shine the way they're meant to, and the way that they absolutely can. So awesome. Oh yeah, I'm seeing there's a question. I missed the first part of the webinar. Is there a replay? Yes, there is. And it's going to land in your inbox within the next couple of hours. Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for joining me. Beautiful to have you here. If you have questions, please let me know. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.